Here we are again, in the garage. Welcome to the latest video with us at Karting 1. I thought the last video we did worked pretty well. This kind of format I enjoyed, so I think I'll do more of it in the future. First things first, an introduction. This is our Pirelli TT75, 100cc engine. I think it was homologated in, must have been 1989. Can't be sure, I don't have the homologation books. But yes, I seized this one at Rowra. And haven't got a rebuilt yet. I think we'll give it a going over soon. Give it a bit of a refresh. It was a number of years ago now, so hopefully we can get her back out soon. So before I start talking about the subject today, just to remind everybody, we've got a Patreon page. The link's down below. So if you are interested in joining the community, please, pledge anything you can. I think there's options for $1, $5, and so on. And every cent, every penny helps the channel make more videos. So yes, brilliant. If you can do that, thank you. So today I wanted to talk about something that I think I've written about before. I haven't really talked about it on camera. And I think it's worth talking about because I think for a number of years, this event has really become an event that a lot of drivers around the world want to do. And a lot of drivers want to win. And I think above anything else, it's the most interesting karting event in the world every single year, bar none. So what I'm talking about is the SKUSA Superkarts USA Super Nationals at Las Vegas. And not for those who don't know what it is, I'm not talking about Las Vegas as a kart circuit there. I'm talking about in a car park of the Rio Hotel and casino in Las Vegas. It's legit one of the most unique karting events, probably one of the most unique motorsport events in the world. I guess it's like you can compare it to something like maybe the Macau Grand Prix or Monaco for F1. And for us, I think SKUSA Supernats in Las Vegas is our version of that. And I truly believe it's the best kart event in the world, bar none. And I'd like to tell you why. I think it was about 10 years ago that, obviously in the last video I'm talking about F1 drivers and talking about karting, and we should separate the two and kind of not talk about it anymore, but here I am talking about an F1 driver and karting. But Schumacher announced that he was going to do the SKUSA Supernats in Las Vegas, and this was like 10 years ago, and we were like, okay, we've got to get on this, we've got to start talking about it. And so I chatted to Tom Kutcher, did an interview with him, and he said, look, come over to the event, we'll put you up in the hotel and you can cover the event. First of all, championship organisers, I've never really been treated like that before. And this is a guy that I'd never met, and we did like an hour-long podcast or something, and he was just so enthused about the sport that he would invite this guy that he probably didn't know much about back then. He probably still doesn't, to be fair. And he was like, yeah, come over. And it was so unusual to feel that enthusiasm from someone who runs an event. And it inspired me later on when I started F100 at Rye House. That kind of energy, I think, was rooted in guys like Tom Kutcher. Anyway, so yes, me and a friend of mine, Will Dendy, we flew over there and I was going to cover the race. And it was such a bizarre feeling to go from being where I was at the time, was going to like Shennington and Bolton, and I'd report on the odd thing. So at the time I was spending a lot of time around the UK scene. I hadn't been abroad to cover any of the big races. And so for me it was like, I'm used to Fullbeck, I'm used to Kimbolton, and suddenly I'm in a hotel in Las Vegas and I look out and I see a kart circuit. And not just a kart circuit in a car park, you had all of the best drivers there, Ardigo, Foray. I've seen them before when they travelled over for Kart Masters in the UK, but you had all of them there. They were doing KZ now because I think, if I remember rightly, that was when KF had really started to go wrong, and a lot of the professional guys, for whatever reason, they transferred into the gearbox, more into the gearbox races. So you had all the top guys there. Baz Lammers, Sonon, Foray, and a few others. And you had the F1 drivers like Brahmy and Pico Jr., Schumacher was racing. What I kind of liked about this was especially with Schumacher. I always got the feeling with Schumacher he was always really a karter at heart, and I sort of differentiate between drivers that leave karting and talk about it now and again, and a driver like Schumacher, when he left to do cars, I don't think he ever really left the sport. He was still at the heart a kind of karter. You know, there was always, you can see pictures of him, putting on tyres on rims and stuff. He was hands-on. So, and you also had Dan Weldon there, who I interviewed there for the second time, and I'll take this moment to say he is the nicest bloke in motorsport I'd ever met, and obviously it was terrible what happened with him, but yeah, really nice guy. He spoke to us twice for karting when he helped to really get karting off the ground years before, when he agreed to an interview when we'd just started. So the event itself was amazing, and all the top drivers, as soon as the karts hit the track Thursday morning, I think it was Rob Howden was on the commentary straight away, and as that was, I think it was Thursday, like first practice, he was commentating. It was, I've never seen anything like it. The level of attention to the show, not in that sort of, over, people would complain, oh, it's very American, it's too American. But if you've gone to this event and you've felt the amount of attention that goes into making it something special, you soon sign up to that program, because you actually feel like you're at an event where the organizer, and obviously there's always going to be people that have had a run-in with organisers from various championships, but as someone who was a journalist at the time or a competitor, you at least feel like Tom was proud to have you there, and he was very, very sort of proud to have an event where these European guys are coming over to compete. It looked like it meant a lot to him, and that was something that really stuck out for me. You had the guy there that just was so passionate about his event, and I thought that was really important, because if I sort of think now about the World Championship events and some of the bigger events here, the guys that run them and the teams that run them, a lot of them are very good organisers, and they have got better over the years, but they haven't got that just insane drive and passion. Or maybe they do, but they don't express it. And you think of the Supernats, you think Tom Kutcher. If you think of European karting and the top events, I mean, Felipe Massa might be the president of the FIA's karting division, or CIK, or whatever the hell it's called nowadays, but I don't associate Felipe Massa with karting. I just think he's a guy that's borderline ceremonial role. He's got the event in Brazil, the karting World Champs in Brazil, which is brilliant. But I don't see the drive, the passion about karting that you do from someone like Tom. So that's one thing that makes the event really special as someone that observes, and because that's the thing, as an observer, as I guess I do consider myself a karter and a racer, but I'm sort of on that really weird fringe. It's like I'm a fan of the sport, because I don't get to drive that much, and someone that is interested in karting as a sport, the Supernats is an event that you can reliably watch and go, do you know what, I'm going to be entertained, I'm going to see some of the top drivers in the world, and it's just completely out of this world. And I think that's really why I think it is the best kart event in the world, because you have the last race, Danny Curl went over. I think he won it in 2017. He's one of the best drivers in the world at the moment. Ben Cooper was racing, and obviously he raced in England, and then he's obviously moved to Canada, and naturally you're going to do the biggest race in North America. Who else was in X30? See, there's so many names, I forget them, because so the thing is, as someone that watches, I remember all the European guys. I don't remember all the American guys, because for most of the year, that's kind of invisible to us across the pond. So we get to see the top guys in America, North America, and South America racing the top guys in Europe. So yeah, Danny Curl was racing. You had, I think, Taylor Baynard was racing in X30. So top guys, and then the top American guys, my names, I can't remember them right now. And then in KZ you had Kremers, who's the world champion, and who else did you have? Danny Formal was racing, obviously he's a top guy, obviously across the pond, and yeah, that was just fantastic to watch. And seeing actually Danny Formal win in KZ and beat the top KZ Karting in the World was something really special as well. And it was like, I don't cover the racing because e-karting news do a great job of that. Supernats, the live streaming, you can all watch it, you can all follow it. So that's why I don't really follow the racing so much, the minutiae of who's winning and that. I just look at the whole picture and think, what's the most interesting event of the year, and I think that's it. I think over here we could learn a lot from it. I think the imagination, maybe the America is a bit different in their way of putting on events, because I think the Florida Winter Tour did a race at the Miami Dolphins Stadium, which they're trying to get an F1 race at now, and I think maybe there's just a bit more room over there for ideas like, can we race at a venue that isn't a traditional kart circuit? Okay, let's race in a car park, why not? Obviously SKUSA isn't the first championship to do it. Karting's roots are car park races, so it's the DNA of it, I guess, is very close to the origins of the sport. But I just wanted to say, I know it sounds like I'm down speaking badly about other events. The Rotax World Finals is a brilliant event for those that do that, and the IAME World Finals, I shouldn't say World Finals, Grand Finals, is great. But if you compare like the British Karting Championship, which I don't see any spokesperson for that championship. It's very much kind of bureaucratic kind of thing, and the people that run it are invisible. There's no real passion and ambassadors to say this is the best. There's not much life to it. It certainly attracts good entries, but I just don't see that same passion from a guy like Tom Kutcher. And I think the events over here, where some of them are well organised and they're well respected, they just don't have that same energy, that same kind of feeling of like, this is something really special, which the Las Vegas Supernats does. I absolutely loved it when I was there. It was the weirdest thing in the world to be in Las Vegas, which you'd see in movies. You'd be on the sort of main highway in Las Vegas where they've got all the big casinos, and half an hour later you're at a kart circuit. Unbelievable, really, really weird, but I loved every minute of it, and I think I'd love to go back one day. But yeah, I just wanted to express how much I really love that event, and I'd love for some of that kind of influence to come over here. I know some people say, I don't want it all to be too Americanized, but I just think sod it to that. I love it. I love the show. I love the vibrancy. I love the passion, and I think it really helps drive karting forward as a sport that can be confident about itself. It doesn't have to be, kowtowing, to other series and apologising for what it is, Supernats beyond any other event, because it attracts drivers who've left karting and it attracts them back. It can be a driving force, and say, look, we're proud of what we do. If you want to come along, brilliant, And yeah, I thought I'd express that today, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got a comment, if you think I'm a stupid idiot and it's a rubbish event, please comment below. You'd be wrong. If you think you've got another event that you think is brilliant and needs talking about, comment below and get engaged. So thanks for watching today, and see you soon.